Hello! Hello, everybody. Welcome. Let me know if you can hear me okay. The, BGM, the Super Mario 64 style, covers of the Mario RPG music is not too, overpowering to my voice. Let me know. Hopefully I'm not already bursting your eardrums with how loud I generally tend to be. Say hi in chat if you can hear me. Say hi. I'm already here. I see some folks saying hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I think this is my first stream of 2024, so Happy New Year to those of you who maybe haven't been around since here on the channel. Or welcome, perhaps, if you're new to the channel since seeing the Rawest Forest remake, which of course we're looking at right now. I'm saying hi to Goomba and Koopa Troopa over here. Hello, folks. Welcome. So, for those of you who maybe don't already know who I am, and that you're about to find out, and I'm very sorry for that in advance. My name is Chris Niosi. You might also know me on the internet as Kirbopher, or Kirbopher 15 specifically. And I am an animator, a writer, a voice actor, a creator, and I am maybe what some people would consider to be the biggest fan of Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. Because, as evidenced by the fact that when the remake was announced, my phone blew up from people all over the world telling me about it. But in 2007, I created the Mario RPG music video, Rawest Forest, based on a song by Martin Hagwell and a few friends of his. And I animated that when I was in high school, and little to my knowledge, it apparently went super viral in Japan on Nico Nico Doga. I only just found out from, I think a month or two ago, that apparently a bunch of the developers of Super Mario RPG had seen it, which was crazy. Then in 2011, I did another Mario RPG music video called Waltz of the Forest. And then just a few months ago, I think in October 10th of this past year, I went ahead and I did a remake of Rawest Forest, which we're looking at right now. And we have also up in the corner here, let me actually stretch this up just a tiny bit. We have the original as a reference, which we're going to be looking back and forth on. And basically my whole plan for this stream is I'm going to go shot by shot through every single part of this entire music video and talk about the animation process, my thought process, and compare it to the original version and everything, and talk about the different things that I did with the remake in particular. Pardon me. But yeah, so thank you all. And before I get into that, super quickly, I'm just gonna do a quick plug. For those of you who may or may not already know this, the lovely folks at MAKESHIP, lovely Plushy company, they are doing a campaign for a Kirbopher plushie of my character, my Sona character, Kirbopher 15, who people would know of from the Terrain of Magical Expertise web series, or Tome for short, as you might know it. And I'm going to put a link in the chat right here. It is the second day of the campaign. We have to hit 200 pre-orders to make the plushie a success and actually get funded. So, if you guys would be interested in supporting my future animation projects, and if you're a fan of my work, please, in the link that I've just put in the chat, and also it's in the video description below, please, do a pre-order for the plushie and help us get to 200. That would mean the absolute world to me if you'd be able to do that. I'm trying to pin the comment, but it does not seem to be letting me do that for some reason. Yeah, we have a little over 100 now, which is amazing, and I would love to be able to hit 200. We only have about a week to do that, so please, I would supremely appreciate your help and support if you'd be so kind as to do that. So thank you in advance if you are able to. And if not, at least spread the word, toss the link out on social media. I'm on Twitter @Kirbopher, and I'm on TikTok @Kirbopher15, like I am here on YouTube. So, much appreciado. All right, without further ado, let's dive right into it. So first, a little bit of background information going forward. I did not create the original song, Rawest Forest. Like I mentioned before, it was done by a gentleman named Martin Hagwell and a couple friends of his that performed it. I have never had contact with the guy that did the song. I was never able to actually find him anywhere. But the remake version of the song I did perform with a group of very, very talented friends of mine. MTH from Siva Gunner did the instrumental. Jameson Bose, who's an amazing singer, you might know him as the heavy metal voice of Agretzko, did a lot of the music with me. Rustage, who's an amazing YouTube rapper, did the rapping section in the middle, and then a bunch of my voice actor friends who also guested on the Charity of the Seven Stars live stream event that I did a few months back as well, voiced the same characters that I wanted them to be on the stream in this project, which was very cool. So super appreciative to them. So let's start with the very, very first shot here. So in the original song, the lyrics that I found open with, it actually shows the name of the character that's supposed to be talking. And so I took that as kind of a cue for who to be animating during certain sections when I did the animation. So it was basically sanctioned by the people that did the original song in the first place, that this little opening bit here was meant to be a Goomba and a Koopa Troopa talking to each other. That was basically how that was laid out. So I thought, okay, I'll open with that. And since I knew it was a lyrical version of the Forest Maze theme, which is known as Beware the Forest Mushrooms, I figured, well, I should put them in something that looks like the Forest Maze. And as you could tell from the original version here, where I was using nothing but the basic color scheme that were just sort of built. I think you can't see it on the way that I'm sharing it, but just the basic colors of Flash that were built into it. I wasn't actually sapping real colors or anything. And I guess I'm sure people might want to know this. I did in fact make this on Flash. In fact, I believe that the version that I used back when I made the original might have been either Flash MX or maybe Flash 8. It was before Adobe became the company behind these all these products. So it was Macromedia Flash back then. That's how long ago this was. It was still Macromedia Flash before it was Adobe Flash. Good Lord. But so and I should mention too, I did the entirety of this with a mouse. The original version of Rawest Forest I did with a mouse. I did not do any of the graphics or animation with a tablet. So this, on the other hand, the remake I did with a tablet screen. I have a Cintiq. I think it's the 24 HD Cintiq. So I used that, and I used Flash CS6 or Animate as well. So, had some better tools, but even then, they're, primitive compared to better, animation programs like Toon Boom and the like. So, nonetheless, I placed Goomba and Koopa Troopa here in the Forest Maze. The original version, you can tell here, was just like, I don't know, leaves and bushes and something, shrug, and a couple random mushrooms. And as you can tell from this version, I tried to actually use the proper shape language and colors and references. Like, these are what the actual trees from the game look like. And even back down to, this is something. Back then, you can tell this original Goomba that I drew. I'll actually zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. I used to really be obsessed with drawing Goomba, which are called kuribo in Japanese, which is a type of chestnut, not a mushroom. I used to draw them more like chestnuts and less like shiitake mushrooms, which are what Goombas are predominantly supposed to look like in this sort of sense. So that was the way that I drew them back then, because I thought I was being kind of more true to what they were intended to be. And then I made the Koopa Troopa a green, unwinged Koopa, which is funny because there are no groundling Koopa Troopas in Mario RPG. There are only Paratroopas, or as they call them, Sky Troopas. So I thought for one, basic thing to fix as well, I should be making it the actual enemy that you can fight in the game and trying to make it look a little bit closer to how stylistically they're portrayed in the original game as well. So I tried to be kind of true to how the designs look in the RPG versions of them specifically. Just as a little minor thing, even down there, the way that the toes are rendered, the way that the face is rendered, kind of Yoshi-esque, the kind of bulbous-looking cheeks and everything, and the tiny little, wings that were originally just these little, flat, 3D little things they just stuck on the back or whatever, very, very rudimentary kind of stuff, because, of course, it was early 3D for them. So, going right into this.
Hey, have you heard about that Mario guy? Who, you mean, yeah, the one with the mushrooms.
So, I of course, as many people might have not been all that surprised about, I had the wonderful Mr. Gaijin Goomba, who of course I've done some crossover content with before, and he's a longtime friend for I think about like 10 years, probably over 10 years now. I've known Gaijin. He's a great guy, wonderful YouTuber, does really, really awesome videos about gaming culture and stuff like that. And the Koopa Troopa was voiced by a friend of mine, Eddie Carrera, who has done some voiceover stuff, but in particular, he is a fantastic engineer. He has been a recording engineer on many, many anime shows that I've worked on, like Hunter x Hunter. I worked with him on the Chimera Ant arc of Hunter x Hunter, the English dub, where I played Shallowpoof, and he was the recording engineer on that show. And he's also an amazing singer. For a band of his called OM Reacts, which he does with Jeff Vicente and Laura Stahl. And he's a big... both of these guys love Mario RPG, so I wanted to have the two of them in there. And I knew Gaijin I wanted to have be the Goomba in my stream, and I was going to have Eddie be Sergeant Flutter, who was... the Koopa Troopa, like, actual character in the game. So I cast the two of them to do that. You can even tell in the original, I literally just zoomed in on the two different parts and didn't actually do, like, unique shots behind them. I just kind of moved it around and zoomed in that way. And the animation is very, very janky. I'm having the lip sync is just like, open and open, close, open, close, no actual sync. But meanwhile, I properly animated the mouths to both of these, and they had interesting ones because the Goomba has the underbite sort of one, which is fun to do lip sync with the teeth and everything.
Hey, have you heard about that Mario guy?
So, and even having like the way that the shape of his closed mouth look, this little tiny tooth here to indicate, like this is where another tooth would be, and having like a full set of teeth under there. So even the littlest thing like that, I did not animate him with a tongue because sometimes that can get a little bit distracting, so I just didn't bother with that. I think both of them they just have open mouth shades as well. So, but and the lip sync for the Koopa Troopa is a little bit more in depth because it's part of like a whole full snout of his face. So in this case, I just straight up like every part of the you mean, and I cheated by having you mean be where the maw of his mouth is obscured by his little snoot here. So all I had to do was have the who, and then after that, to see the rest of it, we cut back to this shot, pick right back up from the same frame with Goomba.
Yeah, the one with the mushrooms.
And I tried to... Oh, whoops. I tried to match, like, the spirit of some of the poses a little bit, like as the Goomba and the Koopa, like they're kind of animating around, and the poses like the original. Like, he starts in that kind of neutral one right here. He leans over to look at him a little bit more, and then, like, kind of leans back, and he's all like, ugh, like, all that Mario guy, a little more annoyed, and I tried to kind of mimic that. Same thing with... the idea of what happened before to kind of preserve that, but to have it be obviously showing as much of an improvement on my ability as an animator, I would hope after, 15 years or so. And then, he kind of like lifts up like that, gets a little bit more excited, and goes back to that pose. We cut back to the same pose here with the close-up, picking up on the same frame that ended at this one.
Yeah.
They're very excited. Yeah! And then the last little bit of that, matches to what he looks like at the beginning of this next shot. Same thing with over here. He's got the kind of like sort of side pouty mouth, like he's complaining about like, oh yeah, Mario. Because, if they're enemies of Mario, they would be a little more annoyed. Although Koopa, maybe he's excited because, oh, maybe I'm going to have the chance to fight him and prove myself to Bowser or something like that, So we cut back to the same shot that shows both of them, and they have their two poses to match, what they've done from their close-ups here. So now they look like this. He's kind of shifted back just a tiny little bit. I had underneath them, I cheated a little bit. I just had these little gradients as the shadows to be underneath. I had considered like animating sort of globs underneath them to look more like proper shadows, but I was like, you know what? They look like little circle shadows in the original game, so I could just have it be, something simple like that. And then we have this long shot of the two of them here.
The one jumping up and down the forest.
Yeah, I know him.
Yes? Okay, hey, check it out.
Super Mario.
Whoops. I didn't mean to go that far. Whoops, knew that was going to do that. I knew that was going to happen, but that's just one of those little quirky things about Flash, is sometimes it doesn't listen to you, or it crashes on you altogether. Hopefully that won't happen while we're doing this. Yep, leans forward, much like the original as well. And similar to the like in the original too, I had this just be one drawing. Back to this, same drawing again. So it's just a super quick like sometimes with this, you can also notice if you look down here on the timeline, I have a lot of these animations on 2s or over here on 3s. I wouldn't super often do things on 1s unless it was absolutely necessary, because then sometimes the motion could be a little too fast. And then you kind of lose what some of the details are supposed to be, and then that's no good, and that's not quite as effective and everything. Oh, you can also see in the background, I have one of those little pipe tree trunks that Mario would go down to and to access some of the underground areas in there. And I tried to use a lot of the same sort of color scheme and everything, and I have the little fruits on the trees and stuff. So a little nod to how the forest maze area is supposed to look and everything here.
Up and down the forest.
Yeah, I know him.
Yes? Okay, hey, check it out.
So over here, in the original, I remember this is just a sign of the times of how I really didn't know what the hell I was doing here. If you look at the way that the Koopa Troopa looks at the screen, so I just had this globby, stupid-looking thing for his head, for the shape of his head that was just like, whoops, whatever. And then he just turns over and just looks like a nightmare creature with his eyes far apart. And then I just I didn't feel like redrawing it, so instead I just corrected it by his eyes just kind of shift together and he just looks a little bit more normal. But even then, these two balloon bulbous heads of them are just so ridiculous looking. It's so silly. So I just had a slow head turn like that, and that worked a little bit better. And they're both Goomba, he's just like, oh, they're watching me right now. And then the Goomba's very excited, so I tried to make him not look so cracked out, but I had the excitement there as much as I could. You can't see it, I think, in the Flash version. I think that I edited in a little bit of a cut to black during this part, but I had Jameson add in a switch sound effect right when the song kicks up, which this was a last second idea, and I'm very glad that we did this because it sounds so cool. It's such a snappy little thing here. Check this out.
The one jumping up and down the forest.
Yeah, I know him.
Yes? Okay, hey, check it out.
Yeah, click, right as it kicks off. And in the final video, it cuts to black right at that moment. I just inserted a little black paint fill during that one particular moment and stuff. Give me 1 second real quick. I'm going to see if I can try to post that same comment in the chat and actually have it pinned this time, if it will let me. I don't know why it wasn't before. That's very strange. YouTube is not letting me pin a comment in my own chat. I don't understand why it's doing that at all. Okay. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to keep posting it every so often then, and hope that people will see it. So, nonetheless, thanks for indulging me with that. So, of course, we have the logo shot. Now, in this case, what I did was I actually traced over the real Super Mario RPG logo. I just put in a PNG of the logo graphic from the original. And what I did was I went over each of them, each little section of the letters. So I had the Su, Per, Ma, Re, O, and I have the O kind of echo out like the original one did, which of course you'll see in a moment. RPG. So these are individual little images right here. Like this G is just the G by itself. And what I did was I have as each of them would pop out. Like I'll just do this for the RPG. So R appears. It's shrunken a little tiny bit. Oh no, sorry. It pops up a little bit, then is shrunken a little bit, and then settles into its main size. Pops, shrinks, main. Pops, shrinks, main. So that helps it feel like they're kind of like, you know, like kind of popping out like that, which is a cool little effect. Super Mario RPG. There we go. So, had that. You can hear Jameson's brilliant vocals along with mine here.
Super Mario RPG.
And, of course, in the background, I have the pre-XOR version of Bowser's Castle happening here. So, it's the little Bowser spiky mountain with his head, you know, like carved into there with the castle. This time, I tried to make it actually look very accurate to what the castle, unlike just these little, you know, sandcastle-looking symbols here. And I even had the kind of spade symbol, pikes kind of sticking out and everything. I tried to be as accurate as possible. Even same thing with the sky background color, the kind of oceanic gradient that was down here as well, and right down to the colors and the shapes of how the clouds were in the night sky and everything. I tried to do that as much as possible to have it be accurate to it and everything. So yeah, you can see in the original, it was just kind of like tweening it around because, I don't think I mentioned this before either. The original version of Rawest Forest that I did in 2007, I made that in a single week because it was originally meant to be for an animation class that I was doing in high school. As just a kind of a last assignment. It was one of my last classes in my senior year of high school, so I just needed to make something quick and fun, and I thought, this would be cool to do, and this will get me an A, I'm sure. And it did, which was great, so I was very grateful for that. And some of the ideas for what I was doing with each of them, like even this, the RPG, having the logo kind of go like that, I think that some of the ideas of what I was doing with each of these shots was just sort of like me going off the cuff with, this might be kind of cool to do this. Oh, this might be a fun idea to just have, you know, do this or something like that. You know, I wasn't really even thinking like too hard on some of the shots. Some of them I put more thought into others, which I'll get to that. We'll, you know, be getting to those as we continue onward. But I think that for this, I wanted to just have each of the party members sort of fly by. So you can see here, we got Mario, Bowser, Mallow, Peach, and Gino. You can also see in the original I had, just to sort of fill space, I had the 7 stars kind of tweening around, like flying by, and then also back when I was very proud of how I was able to write the characters' names in katakana, because I was a teenage weeb, of course, so, you know, I had to. But I thought that was a little bit too busy to have that in there, so I just I didn't include that sort of stuff this time, just to keep it a little bit more clean. But I did, of course, want to have the same poses as the original. So what I did was I have Mario, and this time there, instead of them just being a still image like this is just a single image of Mario with his little skinny ass arm tweaking his hat and his uneven suspenders on his pants and looking quite evil. I have him adjusting his hat, so I'll actually pop in and you can see it's a few drawings of him like kind of like adjusting his hat. So it's still the same like pose and animation, but it's actually like moving for once. So there you go, you can see him kind of twisting that around. And then Bowser, who's just kind of sticking his claw up. So he's kind of got it down there, and then he goes up and lifts it here. This is also the way that I draw Bowser, and always have drawn Bowser for pretty much my entire life. I make him very cute. I personally like to draw him the way that the plushie of him that back when Mario 64 was new, 7-Eleven had these little Nintendo character plushies, and he had this big giant snoot that I saw was just so adorable, because Bowser's my favorite Nintendo character, for those of you who don't know. So I draw him like that. I kind of try to make him a little cute. Yeah, I give him kind of like the little, you know, kitty mouth almost, because he looks a little bit grotesque in Mario RPG, the way that he's rendered in that. In the original version, the 3D render of him is a little weird looking. I didn't get too crazy and busy with the cufflinks, the little or not cufflinks, the spiky ringlets around him. In certain shots, you could see them on his neck as well, but I just showed the ones on his arms in this particular part. So Mallow, of course, has the little thumbs up. I gave him that old sort of cute anime thumbprint, little squiggly thing on his thumb, because I thought that'd be a little fun thing if you blink and miss that. I did give him a tongue, because I thought that would be cute for him. And thumbs up to you. He's so cute. I've really grown to love Mallow about as much as I love Geno in recent years. He's a funny little guy. I'm happy with the colors that I gave him as well. You know what's so funny, by the way? And maybe some of you guys don't realize this either. I didn't know until probably the last couple of years that Mallow and the whole race of the Nimbus people from Nimbus Land and everything are actually meant to be like Lakitu clouds. If you see the original concept art of Mallow, from one of the artists from Square Enix released a bunch of it because it was on an art book that they produced. They actually designed Mallow very much to look like one of the Lakitu clouds from like the artwork from the old NES games. I realized, oh, of course that's what he's meant to be. That makes so much sense. I gave him a much bigger, brighter kind of eye to make him a little cuter looking. So because the Lakitu clouds have little, very tiny eyes, but I made his a little bit bigger and gave him, I think, a little blue tint in them, just because I thought that would be cute. Peach was fun to draw. It's funny. This is not always how I used to draw Peach, but I ended up just kind of like rendering her hair in this kind of shape, and I think it's really pretty. I'm very proud of how this came out. So I have her doing this sort of praying pose, the sort of, you know, concerned expression and everything. I gave her a little eye shine. Her and Mario both have the eye shines in the way that they're rendered. I gave her the proper silver crown that she has in the original game. I think they usually give her a gold crown in her modern render, which is probably why I gave her a golden one in the original videos. You can see up here with that very gross looking like MS Paint golden brown type thing, but I gave her a proper one here, of course. So that turned out a lot better doing that. And then of course Geno, which by the way, it is a sin that I forgot, I think multiple times during this video, to draw Geno's ear. I don't know how I managed to mess that up, considering I dressed up as him for Halloween twice in my life. And I gave him a little bit of a lighter blue, and I think I actually prefer Geno with this sort of deep blue, because he's been rendered with like a darker blue with this kind of thing, and then a very, very light blue, and this is kind of the ones that I prefer. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention also, yeah, Peach, I gave the sort of Sailor Moon little blushy lines. I've always been kind of a fan of that sort of like 80s anime look for girl characters, so I kind of had that in there. Her hair is very floofy. You can't even see her earrings underneath, but I enjoy the way that I rendered her for this. And Geno, he's just kind of standing over here. I think I went back and forth on whether I wanted this pose or this pose to be the one that he started with, and because he was facing this direction, like he was facing to the left of the screen, technically I think it would have made more sense if I had his cape sway backwards instead of forwards, but I was still able to make it work for what it was. And obviously I tried to have his little curly orange hair stuff kind of popping out and everything. I'm able to get the kind of shape of his the spikiness of his cape and the sort of lump of his little hat just right as well, so that was good. Of course, everybody loves this. So, I'm forgetting exactly what the name of this. I learned recently what the name of this little toad character was. He actually has a name. or at least a Japanese name, according to one of the developers that is escaping my mind right now. But this was a fun one just to make as a GIF in and of itself.
When I play the game, I get lost in a phase.
So I wanted to keep the same timing of, you know, kind of like moving his arms over this way, and then moving his arms over this way, and then getting all pissed off and get the little, the anime, like, vein popping on his head and everything, but I wanted to have the movement be a lot more genuinely interesting. I'm also stupid, and I drew his Switch Joy-Con backwards, so he's playing with, this is as if I was holding one in front of my own face, and the control stick was on the left and the buttons were on the right. I'm so dumb, and I can't believe that I messed that up, and now everybody can see my shame forever, unfortunately. But, you know, I have to live with that. It's fine. There's plenty of other mistakes. You know, it's probably not as bad as forgetting Gino's ear, so I'll have to forgive myself somehow. But I thought it would be appropriate to give him a Switch Joy-Con, of course, instead of a Super Nintendo controller with the wired and everything. It might be a little hard to tell, but these little wooden sort of things up on the wall, this is actually meant to be him inside of one of the usual houses, like the interiors of most of the villages, you know, the Mushroom Kingdom and Rose Town and Seaside Town and all that kind of thing. I kept the couch orange, but tried to give it some actual like weight to it, not just like a big square lump, make it look like a proper actual couch. I gave it a Mario World fire flower kind of pattern to it. If you look very closely, you can see it's that sort of graphic repeated over and over. And I also decided to give him a Superstar or Starman pillow on one side, and then a Beetle plushie, because of course he's obsessed with Beetle Mania after all, so it makes sense for him to have a male Beetle little plush doll, and also a save block back here as one of those like uncomfortable pillows, but they're just there for decoration basically. Is my whole sort of idea behind that. So I had I think 4 different loops. So there's this one of him just, you know, pressing back and forth. Then this one of him kind of leaning around. I have a kind of like creases in the couch here, as well as a little bit of shading in the back, back and forth, and then him leaning over this way. You know, that thing that we do as gamers. You've probably done it before, where you're like kind of moving your controller around physically, like where you are, as if it's motion controlled. It's not actually affecting anything at all, but it just makes you feel like you're more in control of your situation. It's very silly. But, and then of course, now you'll notice, by the way, I mentioned before, these are kind of half on 1s and 2s. So like the in-between frames of him switching, you know, between having his thumbs up and down for each hand is a single frame, and then the keys of each side of those are on 2s. So that's the way that this is, to keep it nice and spaced out.
When I play the game, I get lost in a phase.
I'm lost in a phase, then I find out I'm stuck in Gino's maze. There we go. And then this final part, I had this was a case. Oh, you could also see some of the smear frames, by the way, of between each of the poses. So there's that one. That one's not too crazy. This one's fine. And then this one I smeared because he had to be very quickly adjusting into this position. So I had his arms smear like that to get into position, and then I had this on one. Like this is super rapid, like had his head kind of like rotating around. I actually redrew his head, I think, for every frame, so you can see the slight differences in the way that the little spots are. And I think I considered giving him a little shine in his glasses, but I just didn't bother because it wasn't all that necessary to do. Much like in the original, where I gave a gradient to like everything in the entire movie. And then here we are. Then I find out I'm stuck in Gino's maze with Mario on this shot here.
Then I find out I'm stuck in Gino's maze.
So I think the original, yeah, the original didn't even have any actual in-between frames. It was just like pose, 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 and then I don't know, and then it zooms out, and he's just in the little 4 pathway, you know, just very, very simple, hyper simplistic. So in this case, I actually animated Mario properly, like from pose to pose, but of course it's the same poses still. So
then I find out I'm stuck in Gino's.
And then what I did is, so I think I drew this pose first. You can actually see the frame right before it, where you don't need to see anything underneath. This is the sort of window that cuts off. And then I drew this pose, and this pose of Mallow right next to him. I thought that this would be a funny little addition, because this is like the point in the game where they're at the forest maze, and it's just Mario and Mallow are the only people in the party yet. And I wanted to show, like, oh, you know, Mario's just sort of lost because he lost track of where Gino was to follow him out of the maze. So I just wanted to have Mallow just be like, this idiot. God, he doesn't know what he's doing, even though he's supposed to be the great Mario. God, you know. So, and then I zoom out, and you can actually see here. So what I did with the 4 paths, so this is actually broken up into a bunch of, different little pieces, right? So behind here is just the ground, and I kind of tried to pattern it similarly to the same sort of texture, like the sort of ground, little speckly dirt texture that's underneath it, along with the little sort of spotlighty looking parts that are in the same way as the actual graphics of the forest maze and everything in the actual stage. And then what I did for this, so I made like a whole bunch of assets to recycle. So like the trees, I made these little different leaf textures here. These are all individuals, the little tiny mushrooms, the tree trunk pipes, and then I drew these sort of like platformy looking things. I tried to make them kind of bubbly in the same style as the actual sort of walls that, you know, prevent you from going off the stage or anything. And then I gradiented these kind of things out to blend a little bit into the background as well. So like this whole section, this is just like a bunch of stuff that I sort of like grouped together into one thing. And then this top one is the same, this left one is the same, this bottom one is the same. And what I did was to give it a little bit of dimension. If you look closely, I'll zoom out so you can actually see this, is I sort of tweened them out. So I have, for this first half of this zoom out shot, you can see that all 4 of them are closer together here, kind of like pinched together. And I have them expand outward. And then at the middle section, I just kind of snap outward a little bit more. And then it zooms out and then holds onto them there. So it's like this. Like that. There we go. So, little bit of an optical illusion with the tweening that I use there. Try not to go too crazy on tweening in a way that would cheat stuff in that sense. So, okay. So, this shot, you cannot see the frog coin in the Gimme Frog Coins. This was meant to be a little section of Tadpole Pond. So, it's hard to tell that in the original version because it's just a bunch of those little you know, islandy looking platforms like seen in Tadpole Pond and in Rose Way as well. So to make it a little bit more obvious, I have one of the proper like palm trees that you see in Tadpole Pond, along with some of the grass and stuff, and the nicer looking, clouds up there, the little cute sort of Yoshi's Island mini isles with this kind of almost like a cake texture on it. And this is where the 3D model of the frog coin would be. I did a whole separate video where I worked with my good friend Germ. Shout out to Germ. At GermGen on Twitter, who also did my 3D VTuber model. He helped me with crafting a 3D model of the frog coin that I used and had spin around in like a rotation-y sort of looping animation, and I inserted it into here in the final Premiere file of everything. So that's where that is. You can go check that video out if you want to see me actually making the frog coin from the ground up in Blender. He taught me that whole process. So this is, of course, the gimme section. Next up, we have Mario in front of the pipe house. Instead of having his fist out, I thought it'd be cool to have him holding one of his trusty hammers this time. I had a little bit of a slow tween here just to give it a little bit of life and dimension to it. And of course, I tried to make the pipe house, Mario's pad, look closer to the actual design of Mario's house from the real game. So I had the little wrenches on there, I had the proper sign, and with the little wood, the kind of crappily put together wood porch is and everything, turned out pretty well. I was happy with it, and I had some more of the generic kind of lumps of moss, and grass and stuff seen in Mushroom Way and Bandit's Way and around Mario's pad, and just sort of put that in there and had this sort of ground underneath kind of styled in the same way. And then
Give me frog coin!
So Gimme Frog Coins, the second Gimme Frog Coins. Originally it was the same shot as before, and I just had more of them. But I thought, no, hold on. Let me have other ways to get frog coins, like going down Midas River and trying to collect the couple little frog coins that are scattered around that area here. So I have this little teeny tiny little 2-frame animation of Mario with the sweat drops, like, to look like his animation when he's falling in Midas River. Threw that down there. Whoops. I'm pressing the wrong button, kids. Okay, there we go. Whoop.
Give me frog coin!
And I, of course, also, if you can look really closely, I animated the coins as these little, tiny animations. And then I basically took the same thing for the frog coin and did the same sort of thing, but recolored it green and made it look more properly like the actual frog face symbol that it's on it. But it's all the same graphic, just duplicated. And then I actually traced over this little section of Midas River. I used an actual reference image and tried to sort of capture the same sort of shading and everything on it. And then back here, for the what's it called? The water. This is just a blue paint fill underneath, and then the waves are I think it's a single. Yeah, it's just this like little wavy motion that I did, and then I blurred it with an effect and duplicated it a bunch, and then just tweened it down so it looked like the rushing water kind of going down Midas River, and it looked close enough to how the actual game was that I was like, yeah, this'll do. Sure.
Give me frog coin!
And then we have Mallow here. We have Gimme Mallow. So I tried to have the same pose of he's lifting his full body up off the ground and he's doing his, casting one of his spells. So I thought, sure, why not? He's charging up for Thunderbolt. So I think that this is meant to be like the Nimbus Land castle ground was the color that I chose for that, is what it was meant to be. So this is on 5s, actually, this little 5-frame animation done on 5. Made it kind of slow to just show the impact of it. I have his cute little buck tooth kind of sticking out there as well. And then you can't see it, I'll click on it here, but this is the effect that I did, the electrical effect. So I did all of these frames. These are on 2s and kind of like kind of a stutter on it here. And then I did an effect where I put on 2 different blurs and glows to put on top of it. I think it was, if I can look really closely at it. Oh yeah, I have a layer of like light blue and then a layer of dark blue to go over it to just give it a little bit of like width to it, basically. So did that, and he's probably about to cast Shocker or Thunderbolt or something, lay waste to his enemies. Gimme Sia. And it's an item that allows you to flee from basically any battle that isn't a boss fight. And I wasn't quite sure on the first pass of this when I was doing the original music video. Excuse me. I didn't really know what to do in terms of illustrating that. So my closest equivalent of that was I went and took what I think was originally called a little. They called him a Little Boo in the original. It's the blue color scheme Boos from Smithy's Factory at the very last level of the game, and I had him just hide himself, and then he kind of goes a little bit more transparent and hides away. The original version looks very crappy. I think one of my friends said, how do you mess up drawing like a circle? I found a way with a mouse. And I had this sort of just, generic kind of wall texture. I think it was meant to be either... No, I think it's Caro Sewers. Yeah, so I made the brick texture that's behind him look a little bit more like Caro Sewers. I used the same sort of like rendering for that. And I think that they call these Haibus in the remake, which is closer to their Japanese name. And you can see here, I put all the actual animation into just this little thing here. So all the little quick frames of him. He's very cute. I give him the little blushy marks as well, as he's covering his face up, so he looks like that sometimes. And then I put that into a symbol, and then have it slowly turn transparent. And like I think I even tweened it a little bit. It's like here it starts perfectly still, and then did I? Oh no, I didn't. I didn't twist it upward a little bit. I think I just had it just fade transparently. Maybe I shrunk it. That's what it was. I shrunk it down just a tiny little bit, so if you look closely, you can see it's like fading shrinking just a tiny little bit. Very subtle motion here. Gino pointing his little finger gun at the screen here, of course, much like in the original. I tried to make this a lot cooler looking. I was very proud of this. So first of all, before I even get to the Gino drawing, back here I had a much nicer rendering of Star Hill. I love Star Hill. That might be the nicest, to me, the nicest looking level in terms of just pure look. I think it's such a cool design for a stage. Later known as Shooting Star Hill in Paper Mario, basically. But, so I had the clouds be a little more mystical and purple looking. I had a nicer sort of cool, calm gradient for the background. I illustrated these sort of bumpy, like, moon crater type things and had the cute little stars around everywhere. And then I have had, of course, one of the star gates where you can kind of exit through. I threw that into there. So I made it a little bit nicer looking than the original here. And then, of course, for Gino's actual animation, I wanted to give it some life. So, you know, kind of has the gun cocking, like loading it and everything. And I think this was actually a last-second idea. I threw in those little teeny tiny stars as just a special effect. And you can see if you look really closely, they're actually spinning as they sort of like. As his the little nozzles of his finger guns pop out like that, and then the stars sort of spin out and fade away as he settles on the following frame. So little subtleties like that, which I like to do for animations like this. Quick little thing. And then Gimme Cookies. I had Yoshi just eating a chocolate chip cookie. He looks very disturbing, this thing of Yoshi. And this was meant to be on Yoshi's Island, or Yoster Isle, as you know from Mario RPG, of course. And so I thought, why would I not have him be eating a Yoshi cookie? And you know what? I think this was a total coincidence that the first frame of this animation has the Yoshi cookie on top of Big Yoshi just kind of hanging out in the background, just chilling out there. But I thought, Yoshi's got to eat. He's got to, like, stick his tongue out and catch a Yoshi cookie, because why wouldn't he do that? And I try to give proper sort of like grass texture to the G and the O of the goal, like he's at the other side of the Yoshi's Island, Yoster Isle racetrack, and I had Big Yoshi in there, which, by the way, major shout out to the lovely and talented, and sadly he's no longer with us, but a colleague of mine, the wonderful Billy Kometz, who's a great voice actor. He was the voice of Josuke from JoJo Part 4, and many great anime characters, an amazing performer. He had a legendarily difficult to beat amiibo fighter in Smash Brothers that he trained up called Big Yoshi. And that's what everybody calls the little baby Yoshi from Mario RPG that's on Yoster's Isle. They call him Big Yoshi. Baby Fat, as I think he's also known, yeah. So I threw him in here in the background basically in tribute to Billy, because I had a fun experience where I actually got to fight against his Big Yoshi, and I actually managed to beat him with Bowser, which I was very proud of, because I'm not a great Smash Brothers player. So shout out to Billy Kometz, love him. He's missed very dearly in our community of voiceover. So threw that in there for the Yoshi cookie segment. And then, much like I mentioned before, the whole bit about, what's it called? The thing I mentioned earlier about Goomba and Koopa being listed as the people that are actually talking in the, what's it called? In the very beginning part of the song, as indicated by the lyrics that were written by Martin Hagwell and the folks that he worked with on the Rawest Forest song. It was indicated that, of course, we will get you that Mario was meant to be Magic Koopa. So that's why I had Magic Koopa show up for this shot in the original.
Hey, of course we will get you that Mario.
And in the original, it's just, you know, a very simple looking, you know, tweening animation. Nothing all that interesting here. You know, just his hands, the glowing eyes, you know, his body, and then the background just sort of tweening. You know, very simple thing. So in this, I actually animated, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames of Magic Koopa kind of slowly getting up.
Of course we will get you that Mario.
And I have the glow of his glasses start as kind of faded, and they get a little bit brighter, and then I animated this kind of glint, this little shiny glint of his eye. Ding! like that kind of expanding outward, and I gave him the little buck tooth, like he's tried to make him look as close to his original 3D model as I could. And that's me voicing comic Magic Koopa or Wizard Koopa, as he has been relocalized to.
Of course we will get you that, Mario. We need to mute that stupid bull.
And we have Bowser here. So in the original, I think that I drew this pose of Bowser, I think was referenced off of some of his 2D art from Super Smash Bros. Melee. And I had just literally it was the same background, that same like Bowser's Keep sort of generic brick texture in the background. I'm like, I can do better than that. So I zoomed out a little bit to show a little bit more of him. You could see his neck ringlet around him, and I had his finger kind of pinching, like, we need to do this, like, we got to get on it.
We need to mute that stupid bull.
And you can see closely, you can tell that his maw, his actual mouth is its own object that I did lip sync with. There were some reused drawings here, and then I have that subtle little, eyes narrowing behind him and stuff. Also, this is the lovely Alejandro Saab, also known as Sayu VTuber, voicing Bowser, who also went on to play Bowser in the Charity of the 7 Stars live stream event. And you can see that back here, unlike the background of this shot, which is meant to be the brick texture of Bowser's Keep and the regular sort of areas, this background is meant to be from the throne room where you fight him on the chandelier. So I had that. Excuse me. I had that as a reference and have the little spiky, things underneath the windows and stuff there, as a bit of a reference to that. And then right here. So here's a liberty that I took on the remake. Here we have Mario in front of the pipe house. I decided to have it be set a little bit later at night, so I changed the color scheme in the back to be more like it was towards the end of the day as the sun is setting. And you can actually see the great lie that is, I just went ahead and I looped this sort of Mario. I sort of made it as in sync to, I need to get those dang frog coins in the background as much as I could. And I reused certain drawings for some of this stuff and messed around with the mouth and everything to have it fit as best as I could. And it turned out pretty good. And then I put a color tint over it, a 40% color tint of this sort of darker red. And in the original version, it's just, I need to get those dang frog coins. And then it cuts to this little section with just the stars moving around. And I thought that was really boring. I was like, I could do better than that. So what I did was, in the original version of the Mario RPG Forest Maze song, which was by DJ Xprav, during this section, it's, in fact, I'll even pull up the original lyrics so I can get the exact words correct for this. Let me go find it real quick. Yeah, it's... Give me frog coins, give me frog coins, give me ice bumps, give me frog coins, give me mushrooms, give me Sia, give me Star Rod, give me cookies, give me lamb's lore. I want everything. I want everything I need. I must play this more and more. I need to get those damn frog coins to pay off all my credit cards. There are many secrets in this game, and so on and so forth. So in Rawest Forest, they cut off a lot of that. And they replaced it with some of their own stuff with like the we need to meet that stupid voice. I need to get those dang frog coins. So I kept in the I need to get those dang frog coins to pay off all my credit cards in this part. So when I performed Mario for this section of the I need to get those dang frog coins, I had this here with I need to get those dang frog coins to pay off all my credit cards. So I included to pay off all my credit cards. The green screen here, I have later replaced in the final video with, what's it called? The sort of menu, sort of scrolling background from the original game, which has like a Boo and a Bob-omb and a Goomba and stars and mushrooms and little things like that. So I later composited this shot, but this is Mario's hand, of course, and he whips out whoosh, the Brilliant card. So it's a little hard to say. I wonder if I could maybe take this out. Hold on. I can show it to you guys. So this is or actually, sorry, in the English version, it's the Bright card. This is the card that you get to be able to visit Great Guy Casino. So what I did was I looked up the original image of it, and this is just like my drawing the same thing. It has Brilliant card. I think I might have either messed up, or maybe it deleted the other L on accident or something. I can't tell, but it's got the Clown Brothers. It's got a Knife Guy and Great Guy on here. Viva instead of Visa. It's got Mario's name and then a little serial number on here and everything. So I drew that, and then I kind of skewed it with each frame as he's kind of whoosh, like magic trick whipping it out. I skewed it with each frame to have it dimensionally kind of make sense with his hand, the way that he's kind of holding it out like that. And you can also see close up, there are these little sparkly, spinning sparkles that I did. Brilliant Twinkle. In fact, I think that might even be the same sort of twinkle animation that I've used in many episodes of the Terrain of Magical Expertise web series. Which, by the way, everybody, buy the plushie. Pre-order the plushie, please. Makeship.com/petition/Kirbopher-plushie. Please. Help us get to 200 pre-orders. Please. Yeah, so there is actually a small little tiny piece of tome ingrained in this shot right here because of these special effects. So how about that? And then of course, I know a lot of people's favorite shot, of course, the scrolling background with our heroes, the party going through the forest.
There are many secrets in this game, many of which traps and peeps.
So, what I did this time was, of course, I updated each of the running cycles. I made Mario not look like he's a crazy person quite as much. In fact, I tried to make him look a little bit more akin to the way that I drew him in, what's it called? Waltz of the Forest, where I like to give him kind of a badass sort of look because he's very stalwart looking. I didn't give him the black sort of rim to his cap or anything, but yeah. So you can also see, if I think we can maybe zoom in on this to see. Oh yeah, here we go. So here's Mario's animation here. So there was some puppeting movement that I did, but I did move every bit of him frame by frame, so it is still like traditional sort of thing, but I didn't redraw absolutely every single frame here. These were a lot of fun to do. I usually hate doing walk cycles and run cycles. They are one of my least favorite things to do in animation. So I really tried to make these as fun as I could for myself, and he looks like a real like action hero here. Oh, this object that has all 5 of them, you can tell right here. This is There Are Many Secrets is what I call this object, as it's titled up in the corner here. So all 5 of them pop up, and then, yeah. Oh, I think you might not be able to see them all unless I zoom out. Okay, I'll get back to that in a second. But basically, each of these, this is all in one big giant thing, and it just zooms out continually with each thing. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so let's see if I can get this right. 1 second. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so basically, each of them appear one after the other. It's in this game, many of which traps. It's a lower frame right here. And then with each sort of shot at the corresponding frame, I took the object and I zoomed it out more with the background scrolling in the back. So now you can see here, for example, there we go. So Mario is the only one on screen here, then Mario and Mallow, then Geno, then Bowser, then Peach, in the order that they joined, of course. So that was the way that I kind of made that work, basically. Mallow, I don't know what the hell I was thinking with that weird just dot eyes expression, but I gave him this very concerned look. Again, the little sweat, little beads of sweat kind of like dripping off. I'm like, as he's going through, he's got his little Naruto run, hands going out like that. I figured that'd be kind of appropriate for him. So that was a cute one to do. And then Geno, I have him run all badass with like his hands are underneath the cape. I could have maybe had the cape like flow a little bit more beyond what I had to do, but it still works well enough, I would say. And then we have Bowser. Okay, this was a big point of contention from what I have learned from fans. Apparently a lot of people really loved the fact that I made Bowser in the original version right here. He runs the way that he does in Super Smash Bros. Melee, where he just sort of like drags on the ground. I don't know why they made him do that in Melee. It was very silly and very strange, and I always thought it was kind of funny. But I went with that when I was doing that before. So you know, for no real special reason other than I was probably obsessed with Melee and probably very, very excited about Brawl at the time that I was making this, because Brawl had just been announced by that point. But I did decide, since it was a remake and it was a later edition, I'm like, you know what? Bowser's run was updated in Super Smash Bros., so I might as well give him an updated run in this to match that. So I made him run a little bit more like the way he does in Smash, Wii U, and Ultimate after that. So, yeah, so he's got that little thing there, and you can still see his cufflinks here. And then Peach was an interesting one. I think, yeah, her run was pretty simplistic because I ended up hiding her legs underneath. So it's funny, her hair is the most detailed thing with the way that it was, you know, wafting around in the wind and everything as she's running. It was very dainty, and she's holding up her dress, just trying to like catch up with everybody, with the boys. She's quite happy looking. She said la 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 when she's running around along with the original. I made a little bit more concerned looking in this one. And then as I had the zoom in shot, as they're kind of scrolling by, kind of like in this in the original, I thought, hey, you know what would be fun? Let me scroll past them, and I'll have Croco and his 3 little bandit friends chasing after them on their way to try to steal stuff, because that would be fun. So here's Croco. This was actually a pretty tricky run cycle, because making his legs look normal with this was kind of a challenge in and of itself, but it turned out pretty fun. So there he is. Take a little hike, a little sneaky face. Tried to make him look as much not like a Yoshi as humanly possible. And I obviously just duplicated the bandits. I think I had them... Oh no, they're perfectly running in sync. I could have probably had them stagger a little bit, or unless that maybe was an intentional thing. But these were funny because this felt to me kind of like animating a Kirby character almost. Which was kind of funny for Mario, but, you know, because they have no actual legs, they just have the little tiny feet. Sort of like, what's it called? Toad as well. Has a design like that, where characters that don't have legs, they just have feet, and making them, you know, appear to be running and everything is a little challenge as well. But these are pretty simple, so I just duplicated these 3, and then moved on to the following shot. Peeps insane. So this is supposed to be, this looks a little yabe, as the VTubers would say. Excuse me. It's just meant to be his lips. Like he's doing like that Ren and Stimpy kind of like the droopy lips, and then it kind of like lowers down, but it looks very wrong. So I changed that instead, because it's driving him insane, and he's just like angry that he lost. And I wanted to show his eyes underneath the glasses, so you can see his little tiny toad eyes underneath there. Instead, he just throws his Joy-Con at the screen, which is our screen. So I had it lightens up a little bit, and then there's a little bit of a stagger there. I kind of like shifted it around a little bit, and I left a crack on the wall. So, and the crack stays stationary, of course. So he's all pissed off, and he's still got the little vein popping on him and everything. That was fun. Felt that was a better little liberty to take a better sort of thing to do with this shot in particular. So insane while we try to cheat. And then here we go. Okay, so then we cut to him on his computer looking for you know, cheat codes on GameFAQs. So in this case, I had it not be late at night. I gave him, instead of a box, you know, old school PC like the way that I used to have many, many years ago, I gave him a proper, just the monitor is up here and the computer is probably down underneath his desk. I gave him one of those glowy, like Asus style gamer keyboards and the little wireless mouse. I could have maybe given him a little graphic on his mouse pad or something. I could have done that, and I didn't think to do that before until now. But I gave him a gamer chair, nice comfy gamer chair. Tried to make it look a little bit like a piranha plant with the vines as the sort of armrest, and then the piranha plant head as part of the headrest. And you can see, if you look closely, and I'll even turn him off so you can see behind here, I've got the, you know, just the ground texture. This is a poster of Rosalina back there, and it says in Japanese, New Galaxy, like the end of Mario Galaxy 1. So I figured, like, all right, he's a young growing boy. He would probably have you know, a poster of a pretty girl that he likes in his room somewhere. I tried to keep it, you know, as PG as I could with that, but I figured, that's a fun little way to work Rosalina in there somewhere. So of course, so we had there, and is, don't hunch over and look at your screen like that. You're gonna put your eye out, kid. And so instead of like in the original, he's looking at GameFAQs.com for OMFG cheat codes. Very, very 2007. In fact, I think literally even, lols. I wrote the word lols. It was 2007, guys. Instead, what I did of having him looking up stuff at GameFAQs, I have him on YouTube, where he is looking at the Beatlemania 1 million % world record. I tried to have like, on here sort of a reference to how, the YouTube layout would look and everything, at all the little symbols. This is his icon. You can see it's his face with, he's got a little raised eyebrow, ringing the bell if you want to upload something, searching for something at the bar with the microphone. I made the YouTube logo like a mushroom sort of thing. And then this is the Beatlemania beetle just shooting out a billion things, just staying in one place and killing all these things. And then instead of OMFG cheat codes, it's real gamers don't use cheat codes. I have that flashing on then to have the truth dawn on him and everything. And I tried as much as possible to have, the graphics of this look as much like the original Beatlemania game as I possibly could. So, I even had... right here, the like and dislike button, I tried to have look like Mario's gloves. If you look closely here, you can see the little dots on the back of his hands there. So that was fun to do. And you can see that the save video, I have the little save block with the rotating star on top of it. So just even little tiny things like that. And shout out to the speedrunning community. Games Done Quick is happening as we speak right now, and those people are absolutely amazingly talented and skilled at what they do. They blow my mind with the stuff that they're able to accomplish with speedrunning. And then, of course, we have...
Just sounds like crap and it makes you look lame.
Okay, so this was one that I felt was kind of boring from the original. It's just Mario winding up in a secret room somehow. And the implication in the original is that he jumped down from one of the, what's it called? The tree stump pipes. And he finds the secret area in the forest maze when he was trying to look for Gino the whole time. I don't know why I had it be like an open sort of like, hole in the top of this cave or whatever. It didn't really make any sense. I didn't really like how that shot was, and this is one thing I definitely wanted to change for the better. So I still kept this shot. I tried to make this look like the interior area from the forest maze, sort of cavern areas, and I had the little, mushroom patches and everything where the amanitas come out of and all that stuff. And of course I have the floating treasure boxes, which you can see here are floating up and down. With their even their little shadows that I have underneath are kind of growing, with as they kind of lower up and down stuff. It was fun to do this. You can even see I did the individual little spiky things on the kind of metallic rim of the box and all that stuff. Those are fun to draw. I duplicated Mario's running animation from the scrolling shot from before, and
Just sounds like crap.
I had him sort of skid, and I had that sort of like dust trail animation behind him as he skids to a stop here. So you can see his little hair underneath, as often happens when his hat kind of flies up, and then he settles and he's kind of confused as to where he is, looks kind of concerned. So I kept the essence of that, and I thought, hey, you know what, this would be a great opportunity for to include some other characters that didn't get to be in the original music video in the first place. So in the back here we have Mad Adder or Bad Adder, depending on which one you think it is. It could be either or. And I gave him the little slow blink with different eyes. So his different eyes blink together. And this is, of course, Cloaker and Domino, the choice boss. So it's fun to have them in here, of course. And I didn't realize until the remake that Cloaker, what I thought were like these giant creepy teeth that he had were in fact a beard. They were like the upper and bottom, the upper and lower lip of his mouth with like parts of a beard like kind of like flapping up and down. I thought they were like teeth, so I illustrated them more to be like a row of teeth, like a big crazy toothy smile. And so I had these two characters that are, I guess, these kind of like bottles, like these kind of potion bottles back and forth. I always thought these guys were kind of funny and wish we got to see a little bit more of them, so I just sort of threw them in there. I thought that'd be a good little extra thing to include. And then, of course, we have Frogfucius, the Frog Sage.
Exiting the forest is super simple.
So Frogfucius here, sitting on top of one of those little cute islands like in Tadpole Pond that I'd mentioned before. I duplicated this same one from the previous shot with the frog coin. I kind of just flipped it around and used the same clouds and stuff. And if you look closely, you can probably tell that Frogfucius was done with some puppeting sort of thing. I kind of like, you know, just sort of moved his mustache thing up and down, and then his little beard section as well, sort of. And then did the mouth shapes underneath with his, you know, as he's biting his lip or you know, moving his teeth up and down or whatever. Excuse me. And then have him. He's not giving the finger. I promise. He just only has 3 fingers. There's nothing nefarious about this. I swear. And he lowers it down. Made it a nice and simple sort of thing. And then I almost debated not including the tadpole, but you can see there he is jumping up there, and he's kind of wiggling his tail around like that. Like, I had that on ones because it was going to be such a quick blink and you miss it sort of animation for him that I figured I'd just make sure the movement was as infused in as I could possibly get it to be.
Exiting the forest is super simple.
There he goes.
All you do is
Here we go. Okay, so this is a little opportunity for where I threw in some stuff relating to Waltz of the Forest. This animation of Wiggler is actually from Waltz of the Forest. From the shot where you see it kind of scrolling through the forest and seeing what the pathway to escape is. I took the same animation and I cleaned up the drawing a little tiny bit, and I updated the colors to be a little bit nicer, and I just had this sort of like clockwork almost rotating around Wiggler. So, yeah. And then also, same thing, I had, where did he go? Did he scroll past already? Oh, there he is. This Amanita is also from the opening shot with the Rapid Goomba. I took one of these that was just spinning around and just threw him in there, and he's just sort of hanging out and scrolling past there. So this was just a way of kind of like, you know, it was admittedly a little bit of a lazy option, but it was also just a fun way of just like, hey, if you recognize this from Waltz of the Forest, then you really know both of those super, super well. So
all you do is follow these patterns.
Gino walks through. So for this, what I did was I have him holding on this pose. And then I had him in a looping animation of walking back. And then I animated a gradient sort of like shadow, you know, kind of looming over him, so that when this object would move into the background as he exits away, he would become darkened more and more and more. But I had to frame by frame it. With the tween, so that it would always fit exactly. I couldn't mask it exactly, so I did it this way. It was a little painstaking, but it was worth it because the final product, he looks kind of 3-dimensionally like patterns. There you go. And then of course we zoom into
For the rest of your
and zoom out of, I should say rather. So yes, Mario looking upward like this. And then this drawing is new, and you can see that I recycled the same assets that I talked about earlier of these little 4 parts of the forest maze. It's the, you know, the 4 paths sort of maze section of the forest maze, of course. And so I had that in there as a little thing to work and everything. And then this shot, I think I had, oh, where was it? I wonder, did I move it to a different, no, I didn't. Ooh, I don't know where I put that. But what I did was, in order to not have everything, how do I explain this? In Flash, when you have things fade to transparency, they are fading as individual things. So you can actually see under here, for example, that Mario and the ground that has been behind him are two separate objects. So what I did was I merged them together as a single object so that they would fade together. Like you could see here, like this is part of the same thing. It's not like a separate object underneath him. So when I had the zoom out from this is of course what the original looks like. It's very janky. I zoomed out to show all the different little forest paths and everything. I exported that as a separate thing. I think maybe I can pull that up. Let me see real quick if I have that somewhere. I might have that as a separate thing, but I exported that as a separate, forest zoom. Okay, here it is. I don't know if I'll be able to easily show this. No, maybe I can. Hold on. Here, I'll do this. Give me 1 second, folks. Let's see. Window capture. Nope, that's not what I want at all. Flash. What is it? No. Can I not show what it is? I don't know how to do it. Never mind. What I did here, hold on. I'll do this as guerrilla style as I can. Give me 1 second, folks. I'll show you what I mean. Basically, I had the shot where the many different 4 paths of the forest maze are being zoomed out from. I exported that as a separate video file, and then I overlaid it on top of that little section, like this. So where this shot would be, this is what happens here. Yeah, here we go. So I had zooming out of this with the many different paths, and I duplicated all the trees and everything, etc. And then had it fade out probably around here. Had it fade in a little bit around here, and then be solid for all this, and then fade out when we got to this shot. That was the whole way that I was able to do that. So, yeah, sorry, that was not as clean as I wanted it to be. But anyway, this is the section of the world map where the forest maze appears on it, and I had this little red pipe that represents where the pipe maze stage is as well. So I had this zoom out from here. Again, obviously this is far inferior. I think I just duplicated the same stupid tree over and over. I think I might have duplicated the trees here, but they look a lot cleaner comparatively, so it turned out nicer. All right. So hey, real quick, I am actually going to pause to get some tea. So I'm just going to take a super quick, like 2-minute break to go grab some tea. I'll be back momentarily, and then we will return with more of this, and I'll keep explaining more about... we're going to get to the XOR rap section next. So folks, don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. See you soon. Welcome back, folks. Thanks for giving me a few minutes to real quick grab some tea. Had to answer a couple text messages as well. Once again, I will mention to those of you who are here, please, if you're able to pre-order a Kirbopher plushie, linked here, which I'll put in the chat. Pre-order a Kirbopher plushie. I still don't know why it won't let me pin a comment that I post in my own chat. That is very weird, YouTube, but nonetheless, please help us get to 200 pre-orders for the plushie. It would be hugely appreciated. We hit like over 100 within the first day, but we still have only a week to go, and we need to hit 200. So spread the word. Get one for yourself. Get one for your friend. Help us get this funded, because we haven't gotten to do any new tome merchandise in God knows how long, and I would love to be able to be turned into a marketable plushie. So, nonetheless, back to the matter at hand. So, as with before, I recycled the Bowser's Keep pre-getting stabbed by Exor graphic that I had earlier with the logo. And I knew going into it that Exor was going to be the performer of the rap, as he states his name during it and everything. So that was the reason why I kept the castle clear at the beginning of the movie, both for the original and the remake, because I knew that midway through he was going to appear and have a rap section. So I have him stab into the castle at this point, and of course I had the 7-star colors on both sides. These are not meant to be the actual star pieces, of course. It was more of just a little special effect, and you can't see it as it is now, but I'll zoom in to show. So they kind of spin and fade out like some of the other special effects stuff that I had done before. And had the screen flash a little tiny bit. I try to be careful with that so it's not like blinding or anything, but he zooms out. And then of course we have Mario sitting here over on Vista Hill, excuse me, which I tried to have closer to the actual color scheme of the real Vista Hill, as he's looking out over to the castle from the distance. And I slightly changed the timing of the way that the wait, who are you? Thing from the original, because since I was performing Mario stuff, Not even out of like intention, it just sort of worked out that way with the how the recording was going and everything. And had same kind of thing where I tried to, again, you know, sort of replicate bits of the pose. He's hanging here on Vista Hill. Looks a little bit more freaked out and does the point out, but is not quite as insane looking as the original. He's a little more like just kind of traditional cartoony and not like whatever the hell this is. I had the sign that said Vista Hill. I thought I could go a little bit of a step further. So what I did was, so the sign that's back here, it says on it, let me go get it, Vista Hill Mario. On the sign, it says Koopa Shiro no Mieru Oka, which is Bowser Castle Vantage Hill. That is the Japanese name of the area that we know as Vista Hill. So what I did was I took the Japanese kanji and stuff, and I drew it in the same sort of font as this sign is the sign that is at the end of, or rather the top rather, of Booster Hill. So I thought that would be a fun little thing for consistency. Would be to have, you know, instead of it just being a generic, you know, like sign with no actual like details on it or anything, I thought, oh, I'll make it a little fun reference to another, you know, area of the game. So, and then of course we have the brilliantly talented Rustage as Exor for this section here. So. And instead of a straight laugh, I let him kind of do things whatever way he wanted to. So he decided to start the laugh a little earlier with the yeah at the end, because he had during the later section you hear this sort of like yeah kind of thing. This sort of like ad-libby kind of thing that worked really, really well for it. So yeah, like that. So instead of it just being the straight laughing, I animated the yeah right there for Exor as we zoom up and see him. And then here we go. So this, we're talking once again about frame rates and stuff. So we have the zoom in. I tried to have a cool sort of up angle, a dramatic kind of up angle on an Exor here. So this is almost like frame for frame what the original one is. Same kind of like eye movements and everything. Looks over as the blade goes by. Blade looks very dumpy. This is the version of Blade that I drew in the original. And then I tried to make this one look properly, much more like the actual thing, and I have a little like zoom trail behind him and everything. So for this, I reused quite a few of the mouth shapes of Exor just to you know, save some time. But I had you know, I have the ah. And then the sort of like clenched teeth, and then where's the oh, there's an oh, and then the oh kind of so a few different poses to use between to have it be as you know, to have enough variety between the poses and everything. And of course I tried to arrange some of the clouds up here as well, just to give just a little bit, you know, more decoration to the background, not have it be so, you know, purely empty like the original has, with just the gradient background and nothing else to it. So this was fun. This was fun to do, having the Axum Rangers. So originally it was just the Red Ranger, the Axum Red, like kind of like pumping this little thing up and down like that. And I was like, no, I can do better than that. So I had each of the Rangers sort of tweened like this, moving themselves around and stuff. And then yellow. I wanted to make sure that I did some fun poses for each of them. I didn't keep them in the exact same positioning as the original. I wanted to just do something fun with them, and so I just picked out some little silly poses and things. And it's pink over here. I did some gradients on each of their all their parts to give them that kind of like metallic shine sort of texture to them and everything. And then here's Axum Black over here. Got that, very cool. Have another sip of tea. Funnily enough, here's something. This graphic spinning around. So I made it only have to last for oh so long. And you can't see it spinning because it's a movie clip in this sense, but what I did was I took the little rising sun kind of graphic and that I used for Nilok from Tome. That little kind of like red and yellow sort of rotatey rising sun type thing that spins behind him whenever he does his little catchphrase declarations and everything. And I just recolored it to be the colors of the Axum Rangers, and I had to kind of, sadly only black and pink had to have one of each, but I used red, yellow, and green for the others for both sides. And I just have it spin around for this little length of time, which is only, I think a little over a second at best. Had that going there, so it worked out nicely. And then for back here, when he's yelling at everybody. So I think in the original, where the hell? Yeah, they're just these tiny little specks. I was just like, yeah, whatever, that's good enough. You can tell that that's supposed to be them. So I properly drew them all over on Vista Hill, and I thought it'd be cool to have the even though I know this doesn't technically make sense because the Star Road would have been, destroyed, but I had the patched work version of Star Road up in the sky here, sort of glowing while Exor does his thing. And again, I used some tweens just to give a little bit more life breathed into this shot. And then for this shot with the Starless Joes. So those of you who may or may not know. Here you can see the original compared to it. Where is it? Yeah, these weird cracked out drawings that I did of the 5 of them, where they they all pop in like that. These drawings that I did in this version, this is actually in tribute to a Japanese singer. She goes by Kanipon. And she did her own, I believe it's a she did her own version of Rawest Forest that she sang actually on her channel. And her version went pretty viral in Japan as well. So in tribute to her, because I really like her version a lot, I thought that it was very cool. What I did was I drew the 5 characters in this shot to look a little bit like the way that she drew them. So let me get an image. I'll show you a comparison of it real quick. Give me 1 second. How do I, hold on. Gotta situate myself here. Okay. Right here. So this is what she drew. I don't know if she even did the anime. I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure, but just from her video, this was this shot the way it looked in that one. So I kind of tried to pay tribute to the way that it looked in this. And Mallow down there kind of peeking in. So yeah, that was my my little thank you to Kanipon for her contribution to having the song go viral with the version that she performed. Which if you go search her, she's Kanipan, Kanipon. If you search Kanipon Mario RPG, you'll probably find her version somewhere. Alrighty, moving on. And we have another close up here for Exor for.
Star Road, I don't think so.
So, fix the Star Road, I don't think so. Oh, so, actually, no, he gets cut off before he can finish. So, hold on, okay. It's fixed Star Road, I don't think. He gets cut off before the end of think, and then so. And then we go into the next shot, which I started a little bit earlier because I wanted to have the little spell startup noise to happen. And show that. So we have the star symbol, that's Geno, charging up. Geno Whirl! And as you can see from the original, it's just this shot of him throwing the Geno Whirl, and it's orange instead of yellow like it's supposed to be. So this was a cool shot to animate of him swinging his hand back, that little, you know, flashy kind of glowy effect on him. Whoosh! And then that one super quick smear frame. Whirl! And then cut back to that same shot of Exor. I don't blink so. And he blinks and blocks it as it reverses off, and it's that same little star effect. Much like the shot of the 5 characters during the These Starless Joes. Excuse me. This shot of Gino looking all super badass was also in reference to Connie Pon's version. And it had that cool sort of like laser effect of him in the background. Loved how detailed this one turned out. It was very fun to do. And by the way, so Rustage, of course, did the amazing Exor rap, and also the next rap session that's after this, it'll be getting to in just a moment here. So this is him doing this whole section. We'll listen to him a little bit.
My name is Exor, I'm the rapper's angel. Trevor Blade with the accent rangers. Watch your lame as like Mario with his party go running with these starters. Joes with Star Road, I don't think so. I don't blink slow, cause every time I try to rhyme, I hit in my right eye, not a 9 to 99.
And that was, of course, Zeno Robinson as Gino. So the way that this worked out was, I needed to find a rapper that could rap as fast as the original rap section of this song from the 2007 one that I did, right? So Alejandro, who I mentioned earlier, who voiced Bowser in this, Alejandro recommended to me Rustage, who is insanely popular, very, very talented musician and stuff. And apparently I found out that he had been inspired by the original song to be a rapper. I'm sure not exclusively, but apparently it was something that you know, he grew to really enjoy. And so he did the vocals for this. I was very, very happy to work with him. He was so cool to be involved with this and everything. And Zeno, who is somehow an even bigger Gino fan than I am, which is really saying something, because like I said, I've cosplayed him twice for Halloween. It's crazy. I asked, hey, can you do just this one section of the rap, which is Gino Whirl? Let's do this. Because every time I rhyme, I damage my right eye more than 9 times 99. And he's like, yes, I'm going to practice it as much as possible, and I will get it as closely as I can. And of course, once again, you can see back here. Whoops. Oh, and here's another shot where I forgot Gino's ear, like a fucking moron. So I had the same sort of thing where he kind of pops in like this, and he's pointing at him as they're doing their little rap-off battle. I've seen this shot used as a GIF for like Discord argument, which is pretty funny. Yeah, Xena did a great job, and then I believe it was MTH from Silva Gunner who did the instrumental. She took Xeno's vocals and then kind of like edited, I think maybe semi-auto-tuned them to fit the exact timing of Rustage's rap so that they could be perfectly in sync for this part. And it fit perfectly. So good. Alright, so moving on to the next rap section. So originally it was Mario doing this part right here. But since I knew that I was going to be performing Mario's regular vocals otherwise, I thought, okay, you know what I'll do? I know that Rustage is going to do this section, but he's doing a different voice instead of Exor. So I decided, I'll make this part Luigi instead of Mario, so that our two voices will be as separate characters and everything, you know what I mean? So the original shot was a close-up kind of brooding thing of Mario with the silhouette of Exor in the background. I decided to switch it up. I made it Pipe House, Mario's pad during the nighttime, changed this color scheme, had the little night sky in there. You can see the little tiny star symbols that I threw in there. And had Luigi in shadow here. Once again, you reused some assets for the lip sync and everything. That was fun to do. And then, of course, we have the shot of the Shymores, or as I used to know them, the Shysters. And there were quite a few of them here. Little cats got us mad and in distress. Instead, I had 4 of them, and I actually animated them going back and forth over the Mushroom Kingdom village sort of background here. So. Little cats got us mad and in distress. That was fun to do. And that was a simple kind of thing to repeat over and over again. This bit here, so since I decided, first of all, Nintendo does love you. Yeah, love Luigi! Wahoo! So since I was making Luigi the actual rapper character for this section, I swapped out this section here, followed by just this boring little, like, oh, it's just the Mario running animation repeated, like, you know, not a whole lot to it. It was kind of lame. And I thought instead,
Italian guy got a price to tie the blast right past
since they were saying Italian guy got a blast right past, you know, rescue the castle princesses, I thought it'd be fun instead to have another reference to some characters that had not been seen before. So what I did was I threw in the Belome clones. When you fight him the second time during the when you see him in Belome Temple, I had the Mario clone, the Mallow clone, the Geno clone, the Bowser clone, and the Peach clone show up, or Toadstool 2, as she was called. I thought it'd be funny if I gave each of them the sort of spiral eyes, kind of like the little spiral symbols on Belome. They have the little droopy tongues like Belome does. I gave them the horns like Belome does. Mario clone has a B on his hat instead of an M. Also, even the background is, it's a palette swap of the Bowser Keep background that I did, except this one is gold, like Belome Temple is, of course. And Mario's very goofy and scary looking Mallow clone comes in. And if you might notice, the color schemes that I used for each of these are the color schemes that they have, and he even has the little swirly on his knee, kind of like Belome's little swirlies as well, which was cute, and his horns just have the little red stripes added onto them. I used the color schemes of them from the original version, from the 2007, the crappy, you know, like built-in MS Paint and Flash colors that were there, because I didn't do any actual color sapping, so that was also my way of kind of throwing back to that, while also making them appear fake, because they're very, like, overly saturated. And I thought the idea of making them not look like perfect clones, because they're kind of stupid, especially if you read their minds with the thought peek technique, you could see that they're all kind of like imperfect clones and everything, so that was a fun little extra thing to throw into there. And instead of having the Goomba disguised as Peach, I don't know what I was thinking when it came to that exactly. There wasn't any particular reason why I decided to have. I think it was just like, because, oh, it's funny. You think it's a Goomba, or you think it's Peach, but it's actually a Goomba just dressed up as Peach or something. I don't know what the deal with that was, but this was inspired actually by Faye Mata. When I was first reaching out to a bunch of my voice actor friends to be part of the Charity of the 7 Stars event, Faye Mata, who's the voice of many, many awesome anime characters and video game characters. She's Aqua from Konosuba and Lulu from League of Legends and tons of other stuff. And she was Flame Girl in the Tome RPG. She just reached out to me, was like, put me in, coach, like asking to be part of the event and stuff, which was very cool. And so I thought, oh, this would be a fun place to throw in Daisy. And so I had her write, put me in, coach, with a little daisy symbol on the end. This was cute to animate, so.
Rescue the captain princess next.
Gave her the pink crown and everything, so. Daisy's my favorite of the princess characters. So all the princesses got to be in the video. You know, it's just something for everybody. And instead of just cutting back to the same shot of the Goomba and the Koopa like before, and then just looking sad, I thought I'll use an alternative version. I'll use the mini Goomba that comes out of one of the mimic bosses that you fight in the sunken ship, and of course good old Heavy Troopa, who's ready to launch. Excuse me. So I put them in Nimbus Castle, have the little vines and stuff dripping down and everything, and this was something that just sort of happened, like, as I was going through and I was just kind of coming up with little fun, cute ideas and everything. I thought, wait, the next shot is going to be Mario practicing his timed hits, right? So, in the original, we have him just doing the punch attack over and over while the A button is being pressed. But I thought, instead, hold on a minute, what if I have him doing a different, technique with each of his different types of weapons? And in the game, Mario has shell attacks, he has punching attacks, and he has hammer attacks. So I thought, okay, I'll have Heavy Troopa put back into his shell, and then he's dragged off screen. You see that little cute, Hanna-Barbera style or Looney Tunes kind of, like eyes, smear, like that. And Mario is kicking him and using the lazy shell attack, but you can see because of the tail that it is actually the Heavy Troopa inside the shell. Boom! And then he's winding his fist up to perform the Mega Glove punch. And then he uses the Super Hammer, bonk, bonk, and the overhead swing and the side swing. And unlike the original, where Toad is just like, yelling at him with "Practice those timed hits, bitch." I actually got the real Mario RPG font, which I believe was called "I Forgot My Bazooka at Home," and I had him with even the sort of like parchment paper sort of text box pop up, and he goes, "Now you're getting it, champ," as an evidence of you've improved at your timed hits and all this time. Oh, another Walls of the Forest throwback. This wallpaper with the stars and the bombs and the booze, I believe was literally just the pattern was taken from Waltz of the Forest, and I just copy pasted it with a little bit of like a TV static sort of pixel kind of thing to it. So I had that in there, and then we cut back to the Mario rapping stuff, which was a rapid fire kind of back and forth sort of shot. And decided, that's not really all that interesting, so I just had here for this shot of just Luigi again, the kind of mirroring this shot as with before. And then for this shot, as I'm sure you guys might have recognized it when I had it in there, let me pull it in real quick, give me 1 second. I'll pull in the gif of the singing Karabaskus. So, Karabaskus, this is one of the enemies that you fight in Booster's Pass. So I actually animated this little thing in Clip Studio because I wanted to make it look as nice as possible, as in, not animating it in Flash where it would just look like vector. So what I did was I animated these little frames of him singing, and I had Musical Mike Patterson, who did the singing Karabaskus in Waltz of the Forest, come back and do the ha 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 section of the remake of the song of Rawest Forest. So he did that little section. He was originally going to do more, but we couldn't quite get everything situated with his recording space, sad to say. But I was still very happy to have Mike involved with it because he's a great dude and an amazing, amazing singer. And what I did was I duplicated these 3 little Karabaskus animations and had them in 3 in a row. And the reason that I did that is actually because this was another reference to the Kanipon version of the song, where during this section, instead of having the Mario, the different shots of Mario and everything, she had these 3 little crab characters, which I'm going to get a picture of in just a second. I think that these are crabs that are basically like her little mascot characters or something. And they were kind of like going la 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 la, like in that part of the song. So once again, in tribute to Kanipon, and I'm going to paste them into the timeline in just a second. Give me 1 moment. And so I lined up the 3 Karabaskus kind of like that, and had them like la 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 in the same kind of way, and worked out very nicely. I would like to think so. It was cute to throw in there. I don't know if Kanipon has seen the Rawest Forest remake necessarily, but I hope that she enjoyed it. Moving on to the next shot here. Here we go. We've got the split screen little section here.
My name is Croco. Wallet.
So shout outs to my lovely friends. We have Danny Chambers as Mallow, Alex Gross, aka Octopimp, as Croco, and Ben Diskin as Great Guy, all of which they played their characters appropriately in the Charity of the Seven Stars live reading that we did of Super Mario RPG together, which was a ton of fun. So I'm going to actually dissect both of these real quick. So in the original, what I did was, excuse me, I put this whole section with Mallow and Croco into its own little movie clip. So the whole part is like kind of timed into one little section here. And as you can tell, it's very basic looking, and Croco doesn't even look correct with the way that I drew him, actually. I don't know what the hell I was thinking with that. And then when the section of Mario and Great Guy comes in, that I put that underneath it so you could see it right here. So I did kind of the same thing with the modern version. So this whole bit is its own thing right here. My name is Croco. Wallet. And he actually takes out the real, the wallet item. This is the actual wallet item that you can get back from him after you defeat him in Bandit's Way, and you can give it back to that one Toad dude in Mushroom Kingdom. And tried to have a lot more fun with his expressions. Obviously, once again, did some puppeting here to make my life easier, but and then with Mallow, it was just timing out the gimme. And I remember I had to be very specific with directing Danny on, like, it needs to be gimme. It had to be, like, perfectly on key with that, which she, of course, pulled off immaculately. And then we have, again the Bandit's Way looking kind of background here and everything. And then for the Mario and Great Guy section, Mario just sort of tweens like, into this frame here. I had him actually walk in this section. And colored Great Guy closer to what he actually is supposed to look like in the real game and everything, of course. And had some fun with his little clown outfit and having the stars all over his clothing and everything. So I put this section down here, and I actually masked it. So I used this sort of blue sort of thing to mask the area that would be shown in front of it. So I did this. And this is the whole section in and of by itself. And so all of Mario's lip sync is in here. I loved the little subtlety of the mamma mia, rigatoni, basta beriberi. And I don't remember if I actually knew what the wilted shroom or the moldy mush looked like at that point. But that actually is what, and I can't remember if it's the wilt shroom, the moldy mush, or the rotten mush, but it's one of those that he's holding right now. You can take this mushroom, but it's rotten! And that's probably the most cracked out that I had Mario look in the entire cartoon was, ah! And even then, it's not anything compared to how stupid this looks up here. Oh my lord. Well, I think I'm gonna have to find some more Mario RPG music real quick. Give me a second. Just have the full OST pulled up after this little remix finishes up. Anyway, yeah, so that was that whole shot. I tried to also have the kind of the clown markings under his eyes as well. Oh, and of course I had the boosters tower checkerboard pattern in the background to signify that that's where they are. And now, moving up to Kira's section. Of course, Kira Buckland, who has been my voice of Peach for basically everything I've ever done since, like, God, 2007 or something, I think. Like, literally since the first Nintendo collab that I did and Brawl Taunts and all that stuff, yada yada. So I have her up here on the top of Booster's Tower. She moves over, and of course we have the Sniff It chorus here.
I am just a princess, please help me.
I love the three Sniffits. Of course, I also had Booster in the back here, staring through like he does in the actual game, because why wouldn't he be? Peach is on sort of a tween path. I animated the sort of individual little snoots of the Sniffets here for their little bit where they pop up, and they also stagger in like 1 and then 2 and then 3. Ooh, I missed a frame. Ooh, you heard it here first, folks. Chris screwed up a frame of the animation. Oh no, and it's too late to fix it. Oh well, that's okay.
I am just a princess, please help me.
And of course I had the voids underneath their skirts because you'll never know what's underneath their masks, and you should definitely never know what's underneath their skirts. So, and then in place of this little shot where, oh, okay, so kind of like that liberty I took with the I need to get those dang frog coins to pay off all my credit cards, and adding that bit in there. Much like this, where it's, I am just a princess, please help me. Do, Booster is scary. I wanted to add a little something extra. So, of course, this is the shot where we show the Booster Tower, the full view of it, but it's not very well drawn. And the little apprentice sniffet. This is meant to be the sniffet number 4. Coffee break, BRB. I was just coming up with random things to make it work or whatever. I thought instead, you know what? I will actually show the full top of Booster's Tower, so I illustrated the whole thing, tried to make it as accurate as possible. And I had the apprentice sniffet right here, and he's got a little coffee cup with a flower on it, and he finally got his coffee on the coffee break, and he has now become sniffet number 4. And I tried to make him a little more blue looking, so he would look like the what did they call the spookums, as they used to call them. Originally the 3 sniffets, they were just called the sniffets, and now they're called the sniffsters, and the blue sniffets were called spookums, and now they're called the sniffets. Jesus Christ, I can't speak. Anyway, and of course I have, this is another, I believe this is another Waltz of the Forest cloud. Yeah, I think I literally just lifted this from Waltz of the Forest and recycled it for the little scrolling background. So, excuse me. And so I added the "Let me escape" to fill up that little open space. So.
Princess, please help me. Let me escape. Booster is scary.
And Kira is an experienced singer. She's worked on like VeggieTales, and she's done a lot of her own remixes and stuff. We did do a little bit of auto-tuning on her. I think all of us had a little bit of auto-tuning throughout various sections of it and everything, but she did a fantastic job, and she gave me exactly what I needed, and I was very, very happy to have her as Peach in this, because who else would I have possibly gotten to do that? And like I'd said on Charity of the 7 Stars, if she wasn't Peach, I think she probably would have committed murder on me in cold blood. So let me put on some of the old music real quick. 1 second. Let's see. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. And then, of course, for Booster is scary, I had the other kind of wall texture from Booster's Tower, which is these sort of boxy-looking things. A lot of how his room at the top of the tower looks. I had that in there, and I did a similar sort of thing. Instead of him just waving back and forth like that, I had him sort of doing like the individual fingies, like, hi! Well, he's got the gross drool dripping down. He looks a little less disgusting than he did in, well, even in this, and also a little less disgusting than he did in Waltz of the Forest, where he opens up the curtain and he's behind them. So I made him, like, somehow kind of cute. He's still horrible and gross, but, I love Booster. He's great.
Booster is scary.
And then, of course, this is a great shot that I think is fantastic.
I've heard rumors he's taken me to marry more, but I don't wanna marry more. I wanna marry Mario.
So this was fun to do, of course. I had the full body of Peach in the center here. I did not do duplication, kind of like, as you can tell, I did that with this over here, and it didn't even fully duplicate right. This old rendering of Marrymore was the way that I used to think that it looked, and I was very wrong, and then I got a closer actual look at what it was supposed to look like. So this is closer to how the version of it looks on the map screen, not the actual building in the level itself, but on the 3D render of the map in the overworld is more of what it looks like, and I gave it the little church bell in the middle and everything, and you can still see it's got Bowser's Castle back there as well. So, and the little pathway to it, which I think I tried to duplicate a little bit in the same way that it looks in the game itself in the actual stage, and then transfer over here. Had this kind of texture to sort of zoom over to the black, and then it's the other side. And since you can't see her other eye at that point because of the way that the shot is obscured, I only animated the left eye since that's all that you're actually seeing. And then, of course, we have this old lovely gag. Wow! And once again, I masked it with... I had this sort of pop open, and then you could see the little bits of it that's underneath and everything. So, wow! Once again, tried to go relatively cartoony, but not just completely cracked looking like some of the old ones. But I'm sure some people consider getting a Bowser from Kiss... Jesus Christ. A kiss from Bowser. There we go. I can speak. The true best outcome of the Marrymore level. Maybe not necessarily for Mario, but who knows? Maybe he's not one to disparage. So, of course, I had that in there here as a reference to the Marrymore sequence. And then back to the gimme stuff again. So, I did not make it Tadpole Pond at night. I guess I could have done that, potentially. But I just decided to keep it the same time of day instead. Which is funny, because for shots where it wasn't changed to a different time at night, I did do that. And then for other cases, I didn't, which is strange. Whatever. This was another shot where I had the frog coins. I had the frog coins... like kind of rotating. I think there were multiple here, if I'm remembering correctly. So same thing as before. They're a separate 3D object that I masked over there in the appropriate place at that point. And then, the second Gimme Mario. So instead of having him just in a silhouette looking back at his house, which is super boring, instead I had... Gimme Mario. He's his golden statue form, and Dodo is ready to peck him to death, and he's got to jump up and dodge him. I thought this would be a fun little way of showing Mario in a fun situation and having like another like direct reference to a point in the game. So I had that in there. Gimme Frog Coins. This I did just duplicate a bunch of the frog coins, and I just had the repeated sort of checkerboard texture. I just had a bunch of them appear one after the other and everything. And then... Gimme Mallow. Instead of this weird, I don't know what I was thinking with this drawing of him, but instead of that, I went ahead and I drew King and Queen Nimbus, and they're making a wish on a star. Since they their wish does fall from the heavens onto Star Hill, it's like, you know, gimme Mallow. They're wishing for Mallow because they want their Mallow back. They want their son back. So I thought this would be a sweet little way of kind of working these two characters into a shot instead of just drawing a strange expression for Mallow instead. And then we have... Gimme C! So it's them running away, and we have the little text block of ran away, like when you escape from a battle. But... instead, I had, so I slightly redid and changed some of the expressions on, and I think I even maybe like updated. I think I might have made them run a little bit faster than they did. Yeah, they're running faster. So he's like, trying to get away after they've just stolen some stuff. And I had on the little text block upstairs, or the little text up on the top of the screen, couldn't run, which is what displays when you try to escape from a battle and it doesn't work. It says couldn't run instead of ran away or got away safely. And so, you know, some of that. Thought it would be fun to then. So I made Croco and the 3 bandits chasing them in the earlier part, knowing that I would be altering them slightly and then having them reappear in this later shot, which was good ultimately. Gimme Gino once again. Instead of having him facing away, whatever. I thought, because we have made some very, very cool discoveries from many of the developers from the game, and we've seen several of what could have been the final design for Gino. And this particular one, which was collaborated by a couple different artists that were on the team, this was actually a design that got pretty far in the development process because they actually did some pixel art of him. But this is a beta design for Gino. And I thought this would be a cool thing to pay tribute to, so I just threw this in there. I had drawn a bunch of them a while back for one of the artists on Twitter when I first discovered them. And he's even got the star sword, which the final version of Geno actually almost had at one point. They decided not to go that route, which I think is fine. Makes sense since the bad guys were going to be weapon themed anyway, so why would Geno have, you know, a weapon befitting that? You know, wouldn't quite make sense. It's you know, works for me. But I love how this drawing turned out, and of course I also just sort of reversed the background behind him, figuring no one would notice, so, you know. But nonetheless, so, and then, of course, we have boing, 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 me, my frying pan, and parasol. So, this whole shot, we have them just sort of jumping up into the air. I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking when I had this shot originally, where they're just like, they're up in the air. Sure, and then they fall down through the clouds, and then they just jump up again. But I knew that I wanted to have, no, I think it was because, no, I do remember what it was. It was because of the sound effects. It was because the boing, 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 and Peach singing my frying pan and parasol. And I'm like, okay, I have to animate something to have that make sense to whatever the hell she's talking about. So I decided to just have them jump through the air and then they fall. And you can see that Bowser has a little bit of a blep here. So what I did to make it a little bit more interesting is they're jumping high into the sky, and we see this is actually the secret area that is above Rose Town, where the Lazy Shell weapon and armor are. And I threw in a little rainbow just to make the excuse me, oh my god, the background pop a little bit more. And I actually animated them jumping, and then they rise and then they fall. So Mario's got his classic jump where his hat lifts up a little bit and you can see a little tuft of his hair. Mallow's jumping and then, oh, he's scared. Geno's all cool and then just, you know, kind of, you know, rises and falls down. And Bowser's like, I don't know, he's just blepping his tongue out because he's a little cutie, you know. And then this shot of them all falling down, and Peach is in here too. So these are actually traces of the poses of them falling when they first enter into the Smithy factory at the end of the game, when they travel through the portal in Exor's mouth. I traced over those poses and I had them rotating around and falling down, and of course I have these little kind of spirally clouds as they're like descending back down to Earth. And then I had these little fun poses of them falling. I tried to have each of these be some of them anyway, be in tribute to the sort of surprise poses when like they're shocked, like when Bowser's like, ah, you know, like in the game, if you surprised him with something, I had it kind of in tribute to that pose in particular. Geno just looks cool as he like dive bombs down. Mallow, that's kind of that same thing with Mario. These are like, they're like, oh no, like kind of surprise poses from the original game. And the clouds floating down, this is actually a little bit of a tribute to Super Mario Brothers 3, where when you defeat one of the Koopalings in the airships, and Mario gets the magic wand and he floats back down to Earth, and there's the little circle clouds like that sort of, you know, travel back up as the and of course I have these Super Mario World style hills with the eyes in them. And then as we float back down, we're here, and I had these little buildings that were meant to be like Rose Town. So they somehow land without any fall damage, and they're totally safe. And will you please, oh my god, stop. Okay, sorry. I'm trying. Flash, thank you. Sorry. Peach is floating down with her parasol like that. She's got the I think, did I give her the wrong color before? Oh my god, please. God damn. Okay, yeah. She's mostly got it close to the original color. This is meant to be the blue color of the parasol that she attacks with in the original game as well. So oh, and if you look closely, instead of because while Mario, Mallow, and Geno do their original jumping poses, I had Bowser do his little whirling fortress attack from Smash Brothers, which is his up B special attack. So that was a little quick animation of him spinning around like this, you could see. That was fun to do. You can see his little eyes poking out. Another thing, ancillarily that you can watch as extra material for this was my 3D video where Germ taught me how to model the 7 stars, the 7 star pieces, and also how to animate them. So this shot, I overlaid a 3D animation that I did of the 7 stars, kind of like rushing towards the screen, and then I had sort of a 3D effect of these clouds kind of rushing towards you as well. And also this moon that's up here in the corner, this moon is actually the same moon that is in the background of in the ending credits sequence of the game, where they show the 7 star pieces and they're all you know, kind of like a up against the now repaired Star Road. There's a little moon that's up in the corner, kind of similar also to the moon stage from Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, so I had a little smiley moon up there just hanging out, and then otherwise the little space star pattern and everything. So this sort of optical illusion 3D sort of thing, and then I just had the actual 3D animation of the star pieces overlaid on top of it in Premiere. So did that, and then I had this sort of effect tie in with the yellow star, because they zoom in towards the camera basically in the same order of the colors that you get them. So starting from the light blue star all the way up to the yellow star, which encompasses the screen, and then out of the encompassing, then you zoom out of that, and then we come back to this. So just to vary it up a little bit, I was still going to have the shot where, like, oh, they're all sort of running and it's just, you know, just a duplicate.
There are many secrets in this game, many of which trust and peace inside.
I thought, like, I could still do a little bit better than that. I could do something a little bit more interesting. So I duplicated them and I had their appropriate card suit underneath them for whenever they cast a spell. And, you know, the particular symbol that is associated with each of them I had behind them. So Mario has the blue spade, Mallow has the green clover, Geno has the red star, Bowser has the gold diamond, and Peach has the pink heart under each, you know, beneath each of them, and that's associated with each of their little spell casting animations as well. Excuse me. And then, of course, we have our one little shot with Bowyer. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, I mean, I could have Bowyer, you know, just do his little eyebrow raise, but I thought, no, I could do better than that. I'll, you know, drive some peeps insane. So he says insane, and his not only his eyebrows raised up, but his eyes kind of spin around all goofily like that. And he was fun to draw, and of course I just duplicated the forest background because that was a simple enough thing to do and everything, so... And, next we had good old Mac the Knife, or Clay Morton, as he's known now. So, I used that sort of Mushroom Kingdom background, and had his 4 little, shysters just sort of like tweening, like wobbling up and down like that, like, you know, and nothing all that interesting with them. So instead, I had them sort of, dancing back and forth, doing this little fun movement like this.
Why we try to cheat in a really good game?
Had them stagger them. I staggered each of them so they wouldn't be perfectly in sync.
Why we try to cheat in a really good game?
And had him push down his little pogo stick sword a little bit as he was going through each thing. And animating his mouth was kind of interesting because it's like this sort of pumpkin, like jack-o'-lantern kind of shape to it. So that was kind of a fascinating thing to do. But he's fun to draw. A little tricky, but he's a cool design. I also was really proud of, weirdly enough, more than even the character animation, I was proud of how the background turned out. Oh, I'm glad I looked at this, because you wouldn't have been able to see otherwise. There's the little mysterious toad, or whoever it is, behind that one building that just gives you hints about, like, be careful of the pointy monsters on Star Hill. And, of course, we have the nighttime version, because it's when Mushroom Kingdom is all taken over and... conquered by the weapon army and everything, by the Smithy gang. And then, once again, I thought, you know what, I could just be lazy and, like, reuse the same shots of Bowser and then Mallow, and then Gino, and then Peach, and then Mario, and then throw in Smithy at the end. I'm like, no, there's so many good characters that I did, by the way. Shout outs to not remembering to draw Bowser's nostrils and coloring in his teeth for that frame. Go me in 2007. Anyway, there's so many good characters that I didn't use in the original game. I'm like, why don't I? I should. So I threw in a few more of the villains that hadn't been in the original video that I did. So here's Yadudavik, or Spiritavik, with his little mustache moving around. And I recycled a bit of that Midas River texture that I did for the background, and then threw in the setting sun, like his very unique background that you fight against him with. And of course we have Valentina, and I had a little bit of the Nimbus Land sort of grass texture beneath her. Her mouth looks very weird. I feel like I've never been able to get her mouth quite right with the way that I draw her. I had the parrot, the Squawks parrot, just looking absolutely pissed off at the viewer right now. And of course she has a proper margarita with lime in it, as is her Japanese name, as Margarita and everything, of course. And then I had Punchinello. I recycled the cave background, which was a little bit of a cheat because that's technically from the Forest Maze and not from the Moleville Mountain Mines. But, you know, I was running on empty a little bit with the backgrounds. And I just had his little, also kind of semi-pumpkin face little mouth, opening and closing. This little cherry bomb sort of thing going on. And, of course, had to have Belome, used the Belome Temple background from the earlier shot with the clones in there and drew him. I think actually I could have moved his mouth or maybe his eyes back a little bit. It's not quite on center as much as it should be, but still cute. He's weirdly cute and fun for me to draw. He's just a little silly guy. And then I threw in Countdown. I'm not even sure why specifically Countdown. Maybe just because I like him as a boss. I always thought he was a fun sort of concept. And of course I had some of those weird hanging, whatever these mechanical things are in the background of the Smithy Factory environment and everything. Made sure to draw the numbers on the face of the clock and everything, and I had the little mouth hatch open up as if it could speak. Like it doesn't actually move in the game, but I had it move like that because I figured that would make the most sense. And of course, here we have Smithy, who makes you look lame. Even though it's puppeted, I really like how it turned out because it's very like scary and weird looking. It's very freakish. I had the let me see here. Yeah, so I animated the mouth first and had the eyes jingle around and stuff. Made sure to have a nice shiny texture on him. I realize now that his arms, the chains of his arms are actually connected into this little section that's underneath his head and goes into the body, but I didn't realize that at the time. I was just kind of going off of what I presumed he looked like. I have the cape kind of, seeping into the little section there, and he's wearing the yellow star piece on his tummy. And I just kind of shook the head around all creepily and stuff, just made it really disturbing. And I used the red gears and stuff like from the background of the final battle area that you fight him in at the very, very end of the game, of course. So, and then we have this shot, which was a ton of fun. Yeah, also I had looks so silly that his eyes go in different directions. I think I considered doing that at one point, but I was like, it's just creepier this way to just be staring at you. And then here we are with, originally, it was just the frog student. Exiting the forest is super simple. But I thought, you know what, the little Mr. Mouse character came to visit this place in Seaside Town at the time. So I thought, you know what, I'll have the little mouse guy sitting on top of the table hanging out. And and I was also motivated by the fact that it was me and Jameson both singing. So it was the two of us. I wanted to have two different characters to signify that. And if you look very closely here, you can see that this is meant to be the actual Super Mario RPG Player's Guide, the official Nintendo Power Player's Guide that I had, which I had as a kid and had a little reference to that, so I thought that would be a cute little thing to do. And I like the frog student. He's got a cute little design with his little fun beret and stuff. And this, of course, once again, this is this background is meant to be what's it called? interiors to the mushroom people villages, you know, seaside town and all that kind of stuff, and have a little table with some kind of wood texture. You can just barely see a little bit of a wood texturing on the table there. So
Exiting the forest is super simple.
and then the mouse's exiting the forest is super simple. Exiting the forest is super simple. I like to consider that I was the mouse and Jameson was the frog student. If in my head canon, that's who we were.
Exiting the forest is super simple.
And then of course we get a repeat of this same shot with Gino. Not too much more to say, but of course I had this buzzer, which was also lifted once again from Waltz of the Forest. I just reused it here. And he's actually on a little like spirally sort of follow path, and I just had him, you know, scoot around up and down like that. And I thought, what's another enemy in the forest maze that I could make reference to? Oh, right, the gorilla, the evil Donkey Kong ripoff looking kind of guy. So I had just, you know, blink and you miss it sort of thing, where it's like,
All you do
there he
is
goes. There's gorilla, or chained Kong, like the ones in Barrel Volcano. Speaking of the music that we're listening to right now. Excuse me. So that's how that went, of course. And then, of course, it's the same repeated animation here with Gina going to the forest. And then Mario looking back up into the sky. And then the zoom out. And then we zoom out a touch further after this part here. And then, of course, one of my favorite things to draw throughout my entire childhood. The map screen of Super Mario RPG. I cannot count how many times that I have drawn this map in my entire life. It is actually kind of ridiculous. I have probably like crayon versions of this from a million years ago somewhere, you know, in the depths of my house hidden out. But, you know, so it's Mario's pad over here, Mushroom Kingdom. I tried to duplicate it as best as I could to the actual 3D render of the map screen back at that time. Then we've got Tadpole Pond over here, Midas River, Rose Town, Yoster's Isle. I threw some little Yoshi eggs you can see here very closely if you look. I got some little Yoshi eggs. And then Moleville with the train tracks over here. Booster's Tower the way it used to look, and I think that this little section up here is supposed to be where that little final bit of the tower that Peach was resting on is supposed to be. I tried to vary up like the colors of the grass and stuff between each thing. So these are a little bit of a lighter green, these are darker, these are more of like a brownish green, and they have the little artichoke things. There's Marymore right there. And then there's Star Hill. I put the little tiny stars kind of sprinkled into it. Seaside Town, I made blue, kind of a more bluish green kind of thing. We have the sunken ship over here. And then Land's End, some spikier stuff. And then, of course, I made the color of the vine to Nimbus Land more consistent with the colors that I used for these little leaves over here. And then there's the Nimbus Land Castle up there. And then Barrel Volcano. And then, of course, I just repeated the same graphic of Bowser's Keep with Exor in there. I just threw these little extra spikies down here into the ocean to use. So, and then, of course, we have the final zoom out. I did, of course, overlay these 7 stars kind of spinning around as well, like I did before. And once again, with the proper Mario RPG font, I had follow Gino's route here, follow Gino's route here, follow Gino's route here. The rest of your gaming life. Follow Gino's route here, follow Gino's route here. I'm a gaming god. So, little bit of trivia, and this might disappoint some people to hear. I did record myself going during this last part. I'm a gaming god. But I decided to cut it because I felt that it would be better to just leave it blank, and I didn't like the recording that I did for it, and didn't have time to go back and do another one. So I left it empty. Maybe that might, you know, disappoint some people to know, oh, we could have had that. Oh, that's a bummer. And I knew that I wanted to end the last shot with our four heroes lined up in the same arrangement as the box art of the Japanese version of the game. And funnily enough, at the time that I'm doing this, a couple of weekends ago, I just went to Anime Los Angeles as a guest at the convention, and I was selling a bunch of prints. and I actually did a print of this last shot of the animation with the 5 characters, and a lot of people actually came up and bought it because they love the video so much, and that really made me feel great. So to everybody who bought one of those at the con, thank you for that, and I'm going to continue to sell those. Yeah, and I drew them a little more chibi-esque compared to how they look in the rest of the video, but and of course, same thing, I have them in party order, so Mario, Mallow, Gino. Oh, okay, technically I lied. Peach and then Bowser, technically. Okay, sure, whatever. But I wanted Bowser to be the last one because, of course, he's my favorite, so I had him go, wink. And he has the little, if you look really closely, you can see the little twinkle in his eye. Ding. He's so cute. Don't you just want to give him a smooch? And then, of course, whoop, and off we go. So that's it. There it is. There you have it, folks. I'll play it all the way from start to finish for you. Here it is. Here's Rawest Forest Remake.
Hey, have you heard about that Mario guy? Ooh, you mean yeah, the one with the mushrooms.
Yeah.
The one jumping up and down the forest.
Yeah, I know him.
Yes? Okay. Hey, check it out.
Super Mario RPG, it is the only one just for me. When I play the game, I get lost in a phase. Then I find out I'm stuck in Gino's maze. Give me frog coins, give me frog coins, give me Sia, give me cookies.
Of course we will get you that Mario.
We need to move this stupid force.
I need to get those 10 frog coins to pay up on my credit card. There are many secrets in this game, many of which drive some peeps insane. Why we try to cheat in a really good game just sounds like crap and it makes you look lame. Exiting the forest is super simple. All you do is follow these patterns for the rest of your gaming life.
I'm the Rawest Angel, time to play with the axe and ranges. Watch your neighbors like Mario and his party go running with these stars. Joe's Star Roll, I don't think so.
Gino World! Let's do this! I'm working 99.
He's been aboard him at a lack of interest. Little cat's got us mad and in distress. Italian guy got a bite to tie the blast right past rescue the cap's princess next. Grip his anger, his them at lap bag.
My name is Croco. Gimme wallet. Gimme. In the end of the game, items. Something rare. I am just a princess. Please help me. Let me escape. The story is scary. He's taking me to marry more, but I don't want to marry more. I want to marry Mario. Give me frog corn. Give me Mario. Give me frog corn. Give me Toto. Give me Zia. Give me Gino. Give me my frying pan and parasol. There are many secrets in this game, many of which drive some peeps insane. Why we try to cheat in a really good game just sounds like crap and it makes you look lame. Exiting the forest is super simple. All you do is follow these patterns for the rest of your gaming life. There, follow Gino's route there, follow Gino's route there. I'm a gaming god.
There you have it, folks. And just for fun, oh, do I have that somewhere? Where would it be? Oh, here it is. Here is the credit song. I think it might have my crappy test version that I did. Oh no, it has the real one. Perfect. Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, this is a song from a Japanese commercial for Super Mario RPG with these 3 singing piranha plants. And so I wrote the lyrics to this song, and I had my friend Andy Faye Lyons help me with doing the tweening animation for the 3 piranha plants. This is meant to be Mega Smilax. And Elsie Lovelock performed the song for me, and I wrote the lyrics to it. So here it was.
RPG Super Mario.
RPG role-playing game, not like anything you've seen before. Okay, Mario is going on another adventure to save the world. Role-playing game, you know it's gonna make you feel so good. Come on, join the fun of dating just for Mario and you. Oh yeah! Super Mario RPG!
Available this November 17th.
Wahoo! And then I threw that bling, the little coin sound at the end. And yeah, so there you have it, everybody. Good Lord. Well, hey, this has been fun. I really hope that you guys enjoyed learning a little bit something more in depth about the animation process. I was very happy that I got to do this project. I'm so glad that people loved it as much as they did. I'm so glad that people enjoy the game as much as they do, and now a whole new generation of folks get to play this game and go on this adventure with Mario and everybody, and get to know Gino and Mallow, get to have fun with Bowser and Peach in a different kind of capacity. So to all of you guys out there who have been fans of my work, who have been fans of the game, who have been fans of this video, who have supported me and who have tuned in to watch this tonight, old fan or new fan, thank you so much for watching. This was so much fun to do. Wow, we went for almost 3 hours. This is great. I had a whole lot to talk about. Once again, I'll just give one last plug to this. Please, 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 pre-order a Kirbopher plushie. We have up until January 21st, the rest of this week, to get 200 pre-orders made, and then we'll get a Kirbopher plushie funded, and we can have a new bit of tome merchandise. And I've never gotten to do a plushie before for any of my characters. It would mean so much to me. You would make my wish come true if you would please pre-order one and help spread the word. Go ahead and spread the word on social media, you know, like get it out there as much as you possibly can. I would truly appreciate that. But in the meantime, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. So once again, thank you to everybody for being part of this. This was wonderful. And I will be doing more content over the week. So look forward to that. I've got more TikToks and shorts and little videos and fun things. And I think on Wednesday, I'm going to be joining Marissa Lenti and Alex Gross for some streaming stuff on their channels. So tune in for that. I will catch you all next time. Thank you so much. Please enjoy the rest of your week. Let's all have a happy new year together, and go play Super Mario RPG 1,000 more times. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Wahoo!